We've come out to Kirk Michael, to the playing fields associated with the school here, which of course is at the centre of the whole controversy about should this be handed over to a developer to make the new access area into an estate. The MHK here for Kirk Michael, Alf Cannan, I mean, you've been so against this whole thing. Where are we up to now? Because it is going off to another review, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct, Paul. Just to give a bit of background, the original application for the proposed estate here was submitted last year in August. We had the original inquiry. The recommendations for the inspector were against it. That was accepted by the Council of Ministers, and then we received a subsequent and second planning application, and the inquiry for that was held last month. However, due to the non-attendance of one of the key witnesses, the inquiry will still continue on the 4th and 5th of October this year.
Okay. Well, let's run some pictures, because I thought that's why we come out, because it's interesting to show people, because they've heard about it, but if they haven't actually seen what they're talking about. So we're going to show some pictures of the potential area which will be used for the new access, what will it do to the main road, for instance, there?
Well, this is part of the part of the issue and part of the reasons why there is quite a lot of opposition against this proposal. As you can see, we're looking out towards the main road, the Douglas Road corner, and that area will be converted and changed into a crossroads, traffic light signals controlling the traffic. But myself and a number of the residents, particularly residents who live here, and one of them is a former police inspector with the traffic division, believe that there will be significant traffic chaos, that the plans haven't been thought through properly enough, and particularly during the 2-week periods in June and August, when we've got the TT and Grand Prix on, there is going to be significant traffic build-up and the likelihood of accidents. And I think we've already demonstrated that clearly there could be a lot of confusion in the centre of the road with vehicles trying to exit and turn right, and vehicles coming from Peel and trying to turn right. All this land here is going to be a housing estate. Going right back from there, right across.
Are you against the whole thing, or are you just against the entrance here then? I mean, what exactly is your point?
Well, the whole plans here, there's a number of factors that are wrong with them. Obviously, first of all, the initial land swap we believe was flawed in its thinking. We don't believe that, and I don't believe that Heritage Homes ever really demonstrated that they had a clear alternative access point.
Well, they said they did have one, and it involved these sort of houses over here. They've bought them, and they can utilise that area to go in if they want to.
Well, that's now subject to a select committee at Tynwald, and we'll wait to see what the results of that are. But we've already talked about the road and the junction, and you won't be able to see it at the moment, but this is a beautiful Manx landscape. This development is going to fundamentally change the entrance into Kirk Michael and the way that Kirk Michael is viewed and the way that it is designed. And because of that, and because that there doesn't appear to be any real foresight behind this in terms of how Kirk Michael is going to develop, I'm going to continue to state my opposition to this.
But are you against the houses being built? I mean, is this a NIMBYism thing then?
Nobody has ever come out against development per se. In terms of going forward, I'm in favour of that. But what we've got to have... Are you in favour
of this development, though? This actual development? Are you in favour of this one as it stands?
What we've got to have are clear and constructive plans. And yes, I am against this development as it stands. But what we've got to have is a proper thought process as to how villages like Kirk Michael are going to develop. We are desperately in need of further strategic plans. I mean, at the moment, the Southern Area Plan seems to have disappeared into the mist. We've got to get that back on track. It's going to be at least 2 or 3 years before they get to an Eastern Area Plan. But until that time, what we've got to avoid is just simply willy-nilly development, of which I perceive this to be one, and one that hasn't clearly been thought through.
As it stands, though, the school will get a slightly larger bit of land in return for this one, and it stops them building right up to the back of the school, I understand.
Well, that's correct. They do get it. They get a playing field at the back of the school, but nevertheless, you've got a school here, a beautiful, as I'm sure you will admit, a beautiful village school in great surroundings, and in future generations, their lives immediately will be disrupted anyway. We could have up to 4 years of building going on right next to a village school, and secondly, the face of that school will undoubtedly change. So we haven't really thought this through. I don't believe it's been thought through properly, and as I said, I'm going to continue to oppose it.
And of course, this is all going to go back to another of these committees and a meeting here to discuss the whole thing shortly. Well, the end of the year, isn't it?
Well, the 4th, as I said, there's another, the inquiry will resume on the 4th of October. That'll probably take a further 2 days. And then after that, we'll obviously have to wait for the inspector's conclusions.
Do you think, when people watch this back in 100 years' time, that it will be done?
Well, what happens in the future, I hope, will be part of a clear and concise planning process and a strategic plan that really helps not only just to develop Kirk Michael properly, but is in conjunction with a much greater plan for taking the Isle of Man forward.